Thank you, Tony, for a nice introduction. I won't keep you long. So to conclude this study visit, I was thinking of if there are some general elements that we heard through numerous presentations. And I think something that maybe caught your attention is the fact that we're a small country. There is a different culture than in Italy. People are different, the culture is different. There is a lot of transparency. But when we talk about transparency, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is a lot of data available for each one of us to do searches on whatever we like. So it's not open access data. So if I want to have the tax info of my neighbor or Tony, I need to put some effort in. I need to contact the tax authorities. If it's a very high income person, then they actually publish these registers or Excel sheets or how you would call it. But the same goes with the Freedom of Information Act. So we have a huge protection for any kind of public documents to be available for any of us without stating any reason for wanting to have those. But they are not there on the internet for us to see. So we need to know what we are looking for, who is the authority that has access, who owns this document, and we need to contact them directly and request for that particular document or specify a case related to which we need all the documentation. So in principle, we have a lot of transparency, but for citizen control, for example, it's not really taking place. So it requires a lot of effort to actually gain access to data. In principle, we have right to it, but you need to know what you're looking for. So that we need to bear in mind, even though in principle, yeah, that is a possibility that if you want to know very detailed on some issue or some person, you have the means to do that, but it's not openly on the internet for anyone to search for. Then what I also heard many times is trust. So it's part of the culture. So we tend to trust each other. It's considered a virtue for a Finn to stick to their word. So, and not to lose your face in the society. So to be trustworthy and do what you say you will do, it's something that it's engraved in us. It's not something that you necessarily teach. It's just how we are. And we don't know any other way of being. And of course, this trust, it enables a lot of good things in society, but it can also prevent seeing the bad, as we heard. So if you trust too much for everybody to be trustworthy and do the right thing, then you necessarily don't see when someone is not doing what they're supposed to be. So I think culture-wise, there are good things and bad things in this trust-related country of ours. And especially in control mechanisms, active control mechanisms, we have a lot to learn from other countries. And I think another thing that I heard often today was also the preventive side of things. So I think in many societies, the control mechanisms and sanctions are the focus. So you want to monitor, you want to find the misconduct, and then you want to sanction it very severely. Whereas I think our approach is more about trying to give an impression to the society that we're doing a lot and there is a risk of getting caught, and then we believe that that will be enough to prevent wrongdoings taking place. But I think both sides are needed in this way of preventive actions, but also active actions of finding the fraud and corruption, and also the sanctions and the court system to be reliable and effective. Yes, so and the third thing probably for preventing wrongdoings taking place is the effective internal control mechanisms, which is something that I feel that we are not necessarily too evolved yet. We heard from Business Finland that they had this 3-line of defense, and it sounded quite effective, but I think this is not happening in all public sector authorities, and definitely there would be something to learn from there. And I was also surprised to find out the Jarno Liski's comment that perhaps 50% of all cases brought to the court that lead to conviction have been initiated through investigative journalism. So I think it speaks loudly of our control mechanisms, and that maybe we need to look more closely how to make them more effective. So these were my conclusions for the day. I also thank you very much for our Italian colleagues for joining here in person, but also all of you there online today. I hope you have learned something from us, even though our system may be quite different from yours. Thank you.
Thank you.